So succinctness and finding that important part of the team fight, that's pretty much going to come together. MOBAs are really long and for the most part boring. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to you and they hate you. Any commentator who works in a professional field will tell you that 60% of the game that you're about to watch is going to be fucking nonsense. It's stupid. This is League of Legends. It's Dota. Yes, there are very interesting parts and parts that need to be highlighted, even if they're not very interesting, just to give the people at home a good idea of what's going on. Make sure to sync up with me. I'm going to pause real quick.
Sure.
Just moving people around. Okay. With that, you know, those little things that you get excited about during team fights, try to keep them out of the team fight unless you're the analysis side. Now, since you said you had a lot of game knowledge, are you looking to be the chair 2 or the chair 1?
Chair 2.
Okay, so in Smite, I've kind of built it so that it's almost a 50-50, right? So you want about 40% play-by-play, and you're going to want about 60% analysis throughout the game. Now, as we do this, analysis during team fights is very different, right? It's not like if you're in control of the team fight in the very beginning, then it's your job to say, like, this big thing happened, look at this cool explosion, fucking everyone's dead and bleeding and their houses are on fire, right? You know, that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. And then once that starts to wear down, if the team fight starts to go away, the other person's going to pick it up with an analysis side of the team fight. Now, if the team fight's still going on, it would switch to, like, it'll start off like, okay, Amaterasu's coming in. She has a 2-man stun here. Thor can follow up. Is going to find one, kill one immediately, and now blue team is out of there. They're trying to get away, right? It's still going to be a team fight. The analysis job from there is then to pick it up and be excited, giving almost a play-by-play version of analysis. You could say, you know, early on, Ares goes in for the chains. He gets caught with the double stun, picked off immediately. On her now has 2 options. He can either jump over this wall and possibly put himself at risk by getting followed by Fafnir, and the double stun is going to destroy him, or he can turn around and try to fight his way through it, and it looks like he's going to try to take the fight, right? Like, you're still doing play-by-play, but you're also adding in an analysis of what it's going to be and what as viewers we should be looking for as the fight continues to progress. And as a chair 2, that's kind of going to be your goal throughout this. Usually, talking about the game while the game is going on is not that big of a deal. If you have a degree in broadcast journalism, you know it sounds boring, you know, and you'll be able to fix that on your own. So we're going to focus a little bit more on team fights. We'll wind up rewinding team fights, but we're going to go through this whole game no matter what.
All right, great.
Okay, so some commentators like to do the introduction of every team. I don't really do that because when it's people you don't know aside from Barracuda, it's really boring. How is Barracuda getting matched up with these randoms? What is this?
I mean, Butt Blasted's elo is probably super high. Let's be real.
God blast. God blast. Okay, so we'll give it a few more seconds as they start to group up. It doesn't look like either team is going to take an early ward advantage, so this is not really a professional game. It seems both of them are just going to do normal starts. So once we get a little bit closer, we'll continue and start the game.
Sure. Is there a button to turn off the slow-mo? I forget what that is.
Yes, L.
L, thank you.
Okay, so you'll note right off the bat that Amaterasu has chosen not to pick up a relic. Most likely it will be teleport. She chooses not to get it in case she needs something else. I'm not on this. I don't love that idea because while it's very unlikely she'll need the teleport early on, what happens if she needs to go to a Gold Fury before she backs? Do you think she can add 5 seconds to that trip?
It's an interesting trade-off. I mean, the reality of it is Amaterasu's probably going to get the teleport anyways.
Right,
I know that. Oh yeah.
All right. Have you ever watched a cooking show?
Yes.
Yeah, I love cooking shows. You know what the dumbest fucking word in cooking shows are? Or
What's
is,
that?
I guess? Delicious.
Delicious.
If I take a bite of something, right, and I tell you it's delicious, what does that tell you?
Nothing really?
Absolutely nothing. It doesn't tell you about the richness or how the richness might be cut through with some type of acid or vinegar. It doesn't tell you about the mouthfeel. It doesn't tell you how well whatever it is cooked or dressed or presented. All it tells you is that it tastes good. And that doesn't tell me anything because they're on a fucking cooking show. Of course it tastes good. Right? Same thing, and this is probably going to be hard because I use this word all the time, is the #1 flaw of a caster in every esport is the word interesting. Of course it's fucking interesting. It's video games being played for millions of dollars. That in itself is interesting. So I'm going to ping you every time you use that word.
Okay.
Okay. So it's interesting that blank.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trade-off that she's going to want to make, possibly, but I'm not a big fan of it. I know El Chapo, when he was playing solo, was a big advocate of it, but in the reality of it, she's going to get the teleport eventually. She's not going to. Right. You might want to get a shell against the Zeus or something like that, but overall, she's going to get the teleport no matter what. Why waste the time?
Early on, it seems that both teams are pretty much even in their clear. Actually, right side, super fast lane, 27 seconds, 2 seconds ahead of the proper timer. We're going to see Butt Blasted and Fred Sinaire get to lane, and with immediate control, dive in.
Yeah, I don't like the hammer throw there from Vitamin D, but it looks like he's going to be okay as blue team decides to aggress on the Amaterasu. I'm not sure why. A nice CC onto Vitamin D there would have spelled trouble for him.
Wukong, I think, didn't recognize that his Bluestone kept aggro onto him forever from those archers, and he winds up taking over 50% of his health early on, and even though they had the aggression and control of the lane, it winds up giving away the elementals to the red team, and ooh, Thor's coming back?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, Zeus was able to pick up those left side mid camps, but Thor's looking for it here, and that's a 70 transformations from Sun Wukong. He might be in trouble here.
He needs both hits. He's not going to be able to get it. Fred Sinaire turns some damage around as well. He'll get all of the experience for the lane, but it looks like he's going to lose some gold. The issue is Thor has given up both sets of mid camps for an attempt, and he did not have his wall at that stance, so he gets nothing for it. In fact, he loses a whole bunch and takes experience away from the host of Banana.
Yeah, a whole lot of loss there, especially for Mykonos in the middle lane. Soul losing both sets of mid camps there. And Zeus, even though his mid camp control is really good, you really don't want to give him both.
So Mr. Zombieland, level 4 right now. Getting very, very close to level 5. In fact, only 1 or 2, maybe even just 1 creep, but it looks like 2 creeps until he hits level 5. Looks like Butt Blasted's going to have about 2 or 3 as well. So looks like we could see some trouble here for the red team. You see Vitamin D very low on health.
Yeah, he's going to need to be careful here and get a lot of camps just to get the regen from Bumba's Mask. But an interesting choice by Butt Blasted to go Wrath against an Ares. I mean, he's going to get full. Oh, I'm sorry. No, Ares on his team. But even still, a lot of CC on the red side.
Is that First Blood just given away? Amaterasu getting soloed on the left side. She takes a creep and kicks it in. Doesn't explode in time. And, oh, I can see why the word Butt is in his name. God bless.
Yeah, that was quite the gank, wasn't it?
That was top 5 worst attempts at the duo lane I think I've seen in the past year.
I mean, you see something new in Smite every day. And,
Shell gets popped on the left side. We can see some trouble here. Ares landing a few chains. Junk Style throwing out some damage as well. Still level 4. No access to the ultimates. Barracuda getting pushed under tower.
Yeah, nice impale there to stun him, but Barracuda does pop a health pot and still has 1 remaining, so he's going to be okay. He also hits 5 first in that lane.
See, that was awesome. Right? I gave you it after the team fight, and you talked about what Barracuda could have done. You talked about how he hits level 5 earlier. You talked about, you hit every major point there. And as the analyst, it tells everyone at home who doesn't play this game a lot exactly what we should be looking at. And since Barracuda hits level 5, and you've talked about that, that now gives me a few options. Because, again, MOBAs are boring. So I can talk about either A, because of the failed gank, very similar to what happened to Thor. I can talk about the jungler starting to even out a bit. I could talk about Barracuda getting to level 5 over his opponent, which is very important because who gives a shit that Junk Style even exists aside from his parents, right? Whereas Barracuda is a major fan favorite. So that allows me to continue pushing the superstar narrative that Barracuda, even when he's getting ganked, is ahead of his opponent. Right, that's really great. Or if a team fight breaks out, you can see Thor on the right side is aiming towards the solo lane to try to shut down the Wukong, who is already ahead of his opponent. But it looks like he's backing, so that also gives me the opportunity to continue the story of Butt Blasted was ahead, he fucked up, but he continues ahead because Vitamin D is not getting a lot of control around the map. He's also backing at a very weird time I could talk about. 301, we know that his buff is going to spawn in 14 seconds. He won't be able to get back in 14 seconds. So that's a major trade as well. He'll have boots 2. He already has boots 1, which actually puts him slightly ahead. He has more gold than Cirquet. All of these things can be talked about, and all of them stem off the fact that you perfectly gave it to me after Barracuda's thing. There are, I can continue the storyline from the junglers, or I can talk about the duo lane. And all of that's very, very important. Because, again, MOBAs are boring. So having these different storylines pick up make it very interesting, not only at the 3-minute mark, but if I talk about any of those things, that's going to be now our narrative for the rest of the game. So you have given me the choice. It's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure book, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Thor, right? Because I think that Thor is the most interesting right now. So, you know, Thor has an opportunity without Serket being on this map on the side, but he decides to go back right before the spawn of his speed buff. He has a very slight advantage. I should have chosen Barracuda's storyline. He just takes down the Ares. Fuck
Yeah,
me.
I mean, the Ares just no way to get out of that. Nice stun right into the Suns, and then jumps up to continue the CC chain. No chance for him.
And, you know, Junkstyle didn't have his ultimate yet, so he had no counterplay available to threaten someone back. But you'll note that Barracuda doesn't have a lot of HP here. So it's possible that Junkstyle could go all in and look for a kill.
Yeah, he could. Blowing the beads at this point would be worth it, but it looks like Vitamin D is going to go for the gank.
Does he go in? He does get it. Junkstyle going to be forced to bead. Still has his ultimate available to him and doesn't pop it. Winds up getting stunned, and he's going to go too little, too late. Picked off, and another kill for the duo lane.
That's a great job there by Firezerg, the Fafnir, jumping way past where Thor was dunking on her just to make sure that he could land the Raw Hammer if needed. But Vitamin D is going to follow up with the wall anyway, so the CC chain is nice and simple.
All the while, they notice, though, there are many people of red on left, so there will be many people of blue on right. Fred Sinaire is going to walk in with the help of his jungler, steal away the blue buff, which does put some extra and probably needed pressure on Amaterasu, a veritable late-game warrior who is not doing, I think, so successfully so far. 600 gold behind in lane, just lost any form of mana control as a very mana-intensive character, and now, for some reason, Wukong's going in alone against two.
Yeah, Buttsnare decided, or Butt Blasted, excuse me, deciding to do the mid camps instead. Doesn't even get them, and now they're going to contest over the speed buff. No hot Wrath available, but a nice ultimate there should secure Vitamin D.
So, the one thing that you missed there is that Wukong had used his transformations and got stunned out of it. Even if it doesn't wind up working out, that was the most interesting point. Because, okay he's going to have to use his ultimate to get out of here, which puts Butt Blasted in a very bad situation. Butt Blasted will end up going down either way. Same thing for Vitamin D. But I think if there was any one point, him getting knocked out immediately of his only major form of escape without having to use his ultimate is very, very scary. So we'll continue here. Two blue. You'll notice Fred Sinaire does have a blue buff. Firezerg in a lot of trouble here. He's out of mana. He's slowed, and he's picked off. Amaterasu actually does get joined by Soul, and they're going to turn on her.
Yeah, nice rotation there by Mr. Zombieland. The Soul is going to be able to disapparate out of there. And that's the advantage of having Vampiric Shroud. You saw Soul need to back because of that Soul Stone, not having the exact same amount of mana and health sustain that Zeus did, and he was able to make the rotation earlier.
So we don't need to hear nice rotation, right? We just start with the rotation from Zeus does blank.
Okay.
Right? Unless Zeus rotating over turned the team fight, and let's be real, they were in no trouble with Firezerg having no mana. You don't want to say nice. It wasn't a nice rotation. It was an effective rotation. So you say the rotation for Mr. Zombieland confirms not only the kill onto Firezerg, but forces the rotation of Soul completely out of position to ensure they have control not only over the jungle, but once again in the mid lane. Nyanikos, sorry about that. Nyanikos puts himself in a weird position. He's locked under his tower with no help, and another jungler, or rather another jungle buff gets taken, but it looks like it did go to red, and as a result will go on to Amaterasu, I guess thinking, and correctly, that Thor wasn't going to get there in time, right? So I didn't need to use the word nice. Nice, just like interesting or delicious, doesn't tell us anything. All it tells us is that we should be interested in what you have to say. But if you just say with authority, the rotation did blank, it's much, much more effective.
Okay.
And remember, as the authority and as the analyst, you don't have to convince us that it's nice. We'll come to that conclusion if you're passionate about it.
Gotcha.
Unless I'm not paying attention and I'm on Twitter.
Fair enough.
Which
That's
people
fine,
who watch the SBL or any esport are usually just on Twitter.
Right.
Love Twitter.
Gotta give everyone their thoughts, you know?
God bless. Left side, Junkstyle all alone here as Barracuda begins his rotation back to lane. He'll get some much-needed solo farm.
Yeah, Junkstyle definitely going to need that solo farm. I mean, he's actually up in gold.
What was that? You said yeah, as if I didn't know what I was talking about, and then you said that he needs a solo farm, which is exactly what I just said. So not only did you repeat me, but you make me look like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, that transition was bad. I was looking at, I was paying attention to the mid lane, and then kind of got caught off guard by the left-hand transition. So
don't worry about that. All you have to do is listen. Like, you should be looking and listening at the same time. So if I say on the left side, Junkstyle got some much-needed solo farm, you could then immediately look down at the items. right?
Right.
Say, well, he does, for right now at least, have his level 3 boots comparatively to Barracuda, so it's not like he's too far behind right now. In fact, if you look at the gold, he's actually ahead despite his death and Barracuda having a kill, right? So that doesn't contradict me. It just says, like, you're right, he does need the solo farm, but for some reason he's ahead. Why is he ahead? Now our narrative gets to shift, talking about how even though he's 0-1-0 versus a 1-0-1, he's ahead in gold and experience. And that's kind of what I wanted you to notice. You know, you talked about maybe not hitting the more relevant points.
Right.
That was the relevant point.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's continue on. I'll do something else here. So, you know, I'll talk about that. So Junk Style actually winds up being ahead, but remember, it is on her. The late game in comparison to Hou Yi will be a bit weaker.
Yeah, it definitely will be, but he wants to push that early to mid-game advantage by going that Warrior Tabai, trading out that late-game attack speed for some early-game damage, and I like that choice coming out of him.
Why is that?
I just feel like if you can hit the combo, the Pillar Impale into the Desert's Fury, you're going to 100-0 that Hou Yi. You may be able to do a lot of damage with the Ninja Tabai still, but I like the 100-0 potential.
All right, so right there, we're going to rewind a little bit. Just to make sure, you're at 533?
I'm almost there.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm at 540.
Yeah, that's perfect. So,
okay.
You know, we're talking about Junk Style, and, you know, we're talking about all this, and we start going into the analysis of it, and a team fight's breaking out. When you're talking about things like this, your eyes always have to be doing something else than your mouth and your ears.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you're going to miss a major kill like that. And that wasn't a kill on the other side of the map that we couldn't have predicted because Amaterasu got fucking soloed. This was Barracuda jumping over a wall. We watched it. So, Barra jumping over a wall. Why is it? Oh my god, completely out of position. For some reason, a 4-man rotation happens super early, and they pick up the support once again.
Yeah, Man Tracker walking over a ward to place a regular ward on the Gold Fury. And that was a great stun by Fire Zerg. He was almost out of the Suns. He had popped the Heavenly Agility, and then he just got out. He was almost out, and then Fire Zerg hits the hammer to secure the kill.
See, that was much better. You told us it was a great stun, which doesn't tell us anything, but you immediately followed it up. It's like great stun by Thor. It kept him inside the Suns, like you hit the major notes. And a casual viewer at home is going to be like, why is that a great stun? Oh, it kept him inside the Suns. Oh, that seems really simple.
Mm-hmm.
Junk Style left side against 2. Vitamin D cancels his Berserker Barrage early to ensure that Barracuda be getting the last. It's a little bit more gold for him. You'll see Barra now 2-0-1 as they control the left side. The experience seems much closer to even as we look at the gold. Barracuda does get a slight advantage as he begins his trip into Devourer's Gauntlets with Spike Gauntlet.
Yeah, I like this Devourer's Gauntlets. He's really committing to the late game with the Ninja Tabi already, so he may as well go for the Devourer's Gauntlets. Plus, they're getting good rotations onto the left side of the map. Vitamin D is doing a nice job of making sure that either Man Tracker or Junk Style, it does always have someone on them. So I like the late game option there.
So what are we going to see next? Do you think maybe Iqbal? Are we going to see more damage?
I'd prefer to see the Iqbal. I'd like to see him be able to box Junk Style. Otherwise, he may get outboxed. But it looks like the host of Banana is going to get chased down here. Ultimate used by Butt Blast, and it secures it.
Good. A little bit late. I was waiting for you on that side of the map. Left side, Man Tracker again trying to escape here. He will be cold, it seems, as he's getting chased down. A Barracuda trying for a weird ricochet shot. Doesn't find the chains. Man Tracker one hit to the back. Nianikos going to find a kill, and it looks like they're going to turn their sights not only to the red buff, but directly after to the Gold Fury.
My spectator craft. My craft.
Okay.
Like with everything, they got that solo kill.
No worries. Let me back out. Did it kick you to the lobby?
No, it broke. Like my whole smite crashed.
Okay.
I got a dialogue screen.
Just tell me when you're back in.
Yeah, it was it. All right, I'm on.
Okay. So, new thing. Sorry, it's all weird. All right, so let me check my friends list. Barracuda's still in that fucking game. So spectate Barra.
Okay.
And then go to match when it's ready. So again, watch your qualifiers. As the analyst, you don't need to say yeah or there or here or anything like that. You don't need to qualify your statements with bullshit. People, thank you for the sub. All you have to say is your opinion. If something is great, say that it's great, but tell us immediately why it's great. Otherwise, it's nonsense.
Gotcha.
Oh, fuck me, dude. You have to restart your smite. Because the mouse glitch is still in the bloody game. course.
Okay, I'm back.
Taking forever. Oh, this can give me time to click my treasure chest. Well, Jingo, 35 months sub, dude. That's crazy. Thanks, man. Okay, so one more time. Era's still in that fucking game. Feel free to spectate.
All right.
Luke Skywalker, thank you for the sub, man. Uncle Zeus wants me. All right. Let's go back to assisted. Now we're going to speed up here. I think we were about 5, 6, 7, 8,000 minutes. There was like a 4-man team fight on the left side.
Right. Yeah, it was right after. You got picked on, right?
Man Tracker got killed there. And he starts getting chased, so we're right here. So Man Tracker getting chased around, nowhere for him to go. On her, all by himself on the back line, gets pushed out, and we'll go back to the base. Right side, it looks like not enough health to make a contest. That's going to be a free Gold Fury.
Yeah, I like the job there, making sure that they chase down those kills. You know you're going to have the time to get the Gold Fury afterwards. Sometimes you can't chase those kills, and you want to focus on the objectives, but that's a safe call to chase the kills there.
You just used the term chase the kills like 4 times, and that
sure did.
was hard to listen to. Again, you don't need to qualify your sentence. You don't need to say, you know, I like this. I think it could be used in that situation. I don't think it was necessary. Say, I like them chasing the kills there because you don't always want to. You don't always want to put yourself so far out of position because it prevents you from being able to go after some prime objectives. But with the way that they chased Junkstyle and sent him back to the base, and the fact that they knew that Butt Blasted had very little health, it guarantees them an completely uncontested Gold Fury. So I said what you said, a little bit more succinct. Right? Didn't have to repeat myself over and over, and I explained what they did, why sometimes it isn't great, but in this situation that they were 100% correct in doing so. So Red Team was at a pretty decent disadvantage, but you know, a good fight led, of course, by the superstar Barracuda puts them 2 kills up, not to mention the gold lead in their favor as we see an 800 advantage.
Yeah, the thing to note, though, is that Blue Team's still with an almost 1,500 experience advantage, and that's going to be significant still. We're still below 10 minutes in. Those levels are pretty important, so maybe they can pick a fight here that be in their advantage.
Okay, so when you said there's an experience advantage, what should have been the first thing I did as your co-commentator?
Looked at who had the experience advantage?
Absolutely correct. Yes. And so immediately I'm thinking to myself, he's like, but there's an experience advantage. So immediately my eyes start comparing the levels. It's like, okay, 10-10, 8-9. Okay, but that's in favor of red. 10-10, 9-10, 11-10. Okay, so what we're looking at is that the blue team is leading on the right side of the map, right? So now I could say, that actually, I think it's already coming into play. Amaterasu is a level behind. Serket is also keeping a level ahead of that Thor. But we should also talk about the fact that Barracuda, who, you know, is even right now, and he's a late-game hunter. So while the experience advantage is very relevant right now, what's going to happen in a few minutes if they only keep this 2,000 and Barra continues to just run a train on this dual lane?
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier with Thor spending a lot of time on the left side of the map. You're starting to see the effects of that on the right side. Amaterasu getting bullied and now getting her wave proxied by Fred Sonar. So you want to make sure maybe if you're Thor that you're heading over to the right side a little bit, securing those jungle buffs, and maybe even getting a gank on Wukong.
Speaking of jungle buffs, Firezerg, I think maybe he thinks that he's a mid-harpy. He's been waiting a long time. He's going to jump into the backline alone, though. Mr. Zombieland, very smart, walks into the jungle, not towards the tower, but it's not over yet. Thor goes super deep, misses the ultimate completely. They're going to drive back in. Beautiful stun, but it's not going to be enough to confirm as he dives in, deals more damage, but it looks like Zeus is going to be able to escape.
Nice sprint there, pop by Mantracker, and now he's going to try to pull people in. He's getting pretty low. Nice beads there by Vitamin D and the Ekinos, and Firezerg is going to transform to the Dragon and go in.
And Mantracker once again caught and destroyed. Zombieland's going to suffer as well. And this time, without major assistance from Barracuda, the red team holds their own.
Another nice play by Firezerg, showing some situational awareness. Knows that Mantracker is going to fall to his DPS, so he jumps past him and gets the stun onto Mr. Zombieland to secure that kill as well.
Butt Blasted walks in early, gets CC chained to death, and the backline gets destroyed. And then, of course, in the front, they're chasing down Junkstyle. He doesn't have enough mana to jump, only 30. Double tap doesn't connect. Vitamin D starts to spin and will find the win as a rotation comes over. Oh, what is this? Why is Fredsonaire going so deep? Why is he over here?
I mean, he already picked up Amaterasu in the middle lane trying to make the rotation, so he may as well come in. And this is the only hope for blue team right now, it looks like, is Fredsonaire on the Sun Wukong. They've got to play around him in team fights if they want to win, it looks like.
So now I have a few choices, right? My storytelling goes back to the supports, and they're both negative, right? But really here, my most interesting thing is the fact that Soul just fucking left that fight.
Yeah.
There was a fair chance that Firezerg would have got out of there if Soul stayed. So now I can start that narrative. It seems the communication between Soul and Firezerg is not on point. I mean, not only did we just see Soul abandon that fight completely, allowing the kill to go down, because there is a fair possibility that she could have saved him, but even at the beginning of that engagement with Firezerg jumping over the wall into Mr. Zombieland, Soul wasn't anywhere near ready to follow that up. I don't know whether they just like hate each other or they don't want to be on the same team. Maybe Soul thinks she's on the green team.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, she's going an interesting build right now, going into the Warlock Sash, but I know sometimes when you're a mid laner and it's towards the end of the fight and then you see the Sun Wukong that is huge and you're like, oh man, I don't want any part of this. I'm just going to get out of here. Good luck, support. And it didn't work out for Firezerg. I'm sure they'll have a couple choice words for each other after the game.
Yeah, I would probably be very upset, and they got to clean that up. I mean, Firezerg going down there is, I mean, obviously it's very good for Fredsonaire, but it's also very good for Mantracker. Mantracker has 4 deaths and yet is keeping pace. Yes, he's 800 gold behind, but he's also, oh, what did I hear some stuns going off here? And a lot of trouble is Fredsonaire.
Yeah, he actually got stuck in bull form in between the wall and the Thor wall. An excellent Thor wall, but an even better jump down from the somersault cloud kills more Vitamin D just before he gets into the air.
Now, the host of Banana hasn't backed yet. He's being overly protective, and as a result, there's no way his teleport will go off in time. The tower will fall on the right side, and a 500 gold advantage continues, but Red Team answers back on the left side as once again, we're going to see Barracuda's name light up the stage for his 3rd kill this game.
Yeah, Junkstyle, just no wards on that side of the map. Firezerg literally just walked up behind him and hammered him. And then Barracuda dropped the Suns, and good night, Sweet Prince.
Look at this. He was faking the back. He's going to go for Mantracker. Barracuda, in a rare miss, does not get the ricochet he was looking for, but he's going to go for it 1-to-1. Firezerg giving him the chorus, and they're going to go for it. Firezerg way off the mark on that ultimate, not going to get anything out of there. Another chorus added down with the dragon power as we see Thor to the back line, spinning. Mantracker staying alive as Ekinos going to find a solo kill, and to the sky he goes to save himself. Firezerg credited with a kill.
Wow, more Vitamin D, didn't trust his teammate there, lands down, and it's going to cost him his life for sure. Now it's going to be a big team fight, and Butt Blast is going to fall as well. Junkstyle is going to throw the Desert Fury over the wall, but it's not going to be enough for a kill.
Barracuda goes up into the air, trying to bait Fredsonaire. A good Aegis does confirm the bait. The knockup not going to be enough. Overhand smash as well. Or overhand. It's been a while.
It's a monkey.
It's a monkey. Exactly. That's racist. You can't say that.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't do that, dude. Barracuda still alive, still baiting. Fredsonaire not going the right way, but somehow gets out. Firezerg stands still, recognizing that no one was able to pick up the kill, and a almost full health Amaterasu abandons the fight just a bit too early.
If it was anyone but Barracuda, they would be smashing their keyboard and just crying tears of rage. But Barracuda probably just smiled and laughed and said, oh man, can't believe he lived. Well played.
I don't know, man. I think New Barra is pretty pissed.
That's true. I like New Barra. It's like a new season. And Barracuda is like a new character. You know, he's going through some character transformation. I like it. I like Dark Barra.
Dark Barracuda.
Yeah.
He rises. Oh, Vitamin D missing that double tap and immediately giving away that mid-camp again. Level 13 for him, actually still keeping pace with the Circuit. In fact, a 350 gold advantage, or rather 400 gold advantage at this point. He already has his Jotuns online, where we see Circuit going into crit. It looks like he'll be going into shifters.
Yeah, I like the idea.
No, I'm sorry, Void Shield.
Yeah, Void Shield. Right. Void Shield is going to be the call here, and I like that. But we're going to see Serket go for the speed buff. It looks like it's going to be just a host of banana until more vitamin D goes up in the air.
Not a proper combo. That does not get enough damage off. Butt Blasted walks away from that one. Does he get... No, it looks like Thor was able to confirm his speed buff. Fred Sinair dives in haphazardly. More vitamin D barely getting out of there. Knock up by Soul. Not enough damage as Man Tracker walks in, and it looks like Will Control... What is Fire Zerg doing? He's chasing it down!
He's just being Fafnir right now. Yeah, as Zeus, that's all you can do is just do as much damage as possible. But Fire Zerg, Fafnir in that dragon form just does so much damage. You can't really get away as a Zeus.
And that's a big part of it is once you've used your Chain Lightning, there's really nothing that Zeus could do to stop Fafnir from running him down. Gold Fury going to get started, but leashed as Man Tracker and Junk Style walk over. Butt Blasted out of position here, goes for an opportunity, but doesn't quite get it. Oh, Fire Zerg jumping all over the map there.
Yeah, Junk Style went for the Desert Fury over the wall and almost picked up Vitamin D with it, but it was pretty greedy. I would have liked to see him be more with his team, but now with the teleport coming in from Fred Sinair, this looks like it could be a good fight for Blue, unless Butt Blasted gets bursted.
Of course. I thought we were going to see a triple stun. Only gets 2 as the suns come down. Man Tracker stuck inside. Going to get burned down again. 6 deaths. Oh, man, that is just really hard to deal with, especially when you're going up against someone like Bara. You're going to be tilting out of control.
Yeah, remember how we were talking about earlier how we liked the red team didn't chase the kills and went for the objective? Well, this is the exact opposite. Chasing an unnecessary kill, Junk Style, no ultimate available, below half health. He's not going to be able to contest. I would have much rather seen them go straight for the Gold Fury and really compound this lead.
So Fred Sinair not only uses his only form of movement with those 72 transformations, but he guarantees another chance at the Gold Fury for the red team. He's trying to keep his pace here. His ult comes back up. Now we're looking at Zeus. He's trying to find the double. Bara with the stun. Inside. Detonate doesn't go off in time. Bara. Ooh, that was... Okay, Bara. Oh, Dark Bara rises.
Dark Bara rises. That's right. You almost killed me, but it really wasn't even that close. He was in control the entire time.
Standing in the ultimate.
Yeah.
That is new Bara.
New Bara. Old Bara would have never done that.
Is that enough for the kill? Thor need 2 more 6. Oh my god! Lives with 15 HP. Just barely escaping.
Not even close. But more importantly, he does get both relics. Butt Blasted gets both of more Vitamin D's relics there.
Oh,
so that's going to be a big window for them to use that advantage for an Ares maybe. If he ults in, he dunks into the back line, but Ares immediately uses no escape. More Vitamin D is going to be right back in kind of trouble.
Now, we talked about earlier about how Butt Blasted chose to go into Hog. I think we should start talking about what he's going to be lacking now that he doesn't have Blink.
Yeah, a lot of safe engage. I mean, as Serket, the best thing you can do to get into the back line is blink, immediately use your madness, and then go in and still have your 3 or your 1 to escape. But without having that blink, I mean, yeah, you have an extra CC, which is nice, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Speaking of not enough, more Vitamin D didn't have enough HP as he jumped on to Zeus for some reason. Zeus just answers back, uses his beads immediately, drops the shield, gets off the Chain Lightning, and blows him right to hell.
Nice no escape there by Man Tracker. Is going to get a 2 sets of beads and Amaterasu ult. And this is looking like a great fight for Blue Team as Butt Blast is going to go in and get absolutely exploded by Barracuda.
All right, Butt Blasted able to get out of that one, but on the back end, he's not paying attention to Fire Zerg. We shouldn't see Fafnir able to catch this. Stealthing, jumping out. He's still going for it, but Zeus is back in. Chain Lightning, Detonate will put him to half. In the back, Fred Sinair continues to fight, finds a kill on the Echonos, and now it looks like he's going to try to fight through Barracuda. I don't know about this.
Yeah, and nice beads there, but I'm trying to predict a 70 transformations, but it never came. And a nice meditation almost from Fred Sinair. Keeps him alive, but can't do the same for Mr. Santo.
So Junk Style, not recognizing that this is a PvP game, continues to fight against the environment, not only throwing that team fight completely, but it looks like another Gold Fury attempt's going to be given. Butt Blasted's madness is on cooldown. He dives to the back line, jumps right out, and he is completely out of options. Fred Sinair going in. He's going to look for this as well. Fire Zerg continuing to hold this. As Vitamin D goes up into the air, they're leashing the Gold Fury with the intent of trying to burst down Sun Wukong.
Yeah, I mean, Fred Sinair does a nice job delaying there. Now Man Tracker is back, but Butt Blasted didn't take that opportunity to go back to base so that he could try and be back in time. Now it's just going to be a half health level 13 Serket and a level 12 Ares.
Mantracker continues to put the pressure on. Firezerg taking a lot of damage, but it won't be enough for him to get taken down. And more Vitamins answers in the backline by finding the Circuit and bringing a kill for the blue team, or the red team.
Yeah, he hit the wall on the double tap, but Circuit had beads available, so I'm a little confused as to why that happened. I mean,
Speaking of beads, right? We just saw the beads get used by Thor. He uses them to get away from the chains, and Mantracker not only throws his cooldown away for that one, but is forced to burn his sprint to get out of there as well. Amaterasu in the mid lane trying to find Zeus.
Yeah, as Zeus getting just dove under the middle tower by the Amaterasu. That's always tough, but he does get a nice sanctuary to stay out of there. And but Amaterasu is very happy with that because that ultimate cooldown is extremely short.
Mantracker getting chased once again. Firezerg throws out a stun, doesn't land. Host of Banana taking a lot of damage, will immediately stand switch to walk away from this one and, of course, heal back up.
I'd like to see Host of Banana take a page out of Junkstyle's book and go play a little PvE on the right side. Only level 16, not far enough ahead to really tank up the amount of damage that he wants to. But it looks like he's going to stay as they're going to get the Gold Fury just barely. Junkstyle almost stole it with the Desert Fury, but just off.
That was a really good attempt. I mean, that was as perfect as his timing really could have been. And while it sucks that his ultimate's going to be on cooldown, those are risks you have to take, especially when your team is behind.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're saying, oh, so close, almost had it. But it looks like a fight's going to break out on the right side. More Vitamin D is going to try and get up into the air, but not quite as Butt Blasted is going to be able to take him out.
He was a little bit late on that. You actually saw the time it took him to turn around, on top of the fact that he... Oh, wait, let's talk about Barracuda. He's going in against two. Mr. Zombieland walks in the wrong direction. Barracuda finds himself being unstoppable with a 7-kill streak.
Yeah, they're really taking advantage, Red Team is, that is. They're really taking advantage of the immobile gods on blue side. 0-7 Ares, 3-7 Zeus.
Mantracker once again in trouble as Barra dives into the backline, trying to find some extra damage. Tower still standing, and it's burning way at, it looks like, Fafnir. They're trying to fight through. Tower will fall. Not too many casualties, it seems, but that could change.
Almost. A big stellar burst there from the Akanos is going to almost pick up Fred's in there, but it looks like they're going to see just tier 2 tower, and they should be able to get this fairly comfortably.
Yeah, this is a big win because, you know, they're getting kills, you know, 1 pick, 2 picks at a time. They just got the Gold Fury, and now they're picking up a tier 1 and tier 2. That's a 3,500 gold swing at the very minimum. Once again, going to the back line, doesn't get the full combo off. Yes, he does! What? Circuit just... I can't believe she got stuck in that.
Yeah, huge CC chain there. Firezerg combined with Vitamin D, but it looks like Mr. Zombieland is almost going to pick up the Host of Banana. Now Barracuda's in a tough spot, chained by Mantracker, and they're going to try and burst them down before the flames come out. But Fred Snare's going to go up in the air and look for Barracuda again.
You know, Barra's been chilling. He's in some trouble now. He still has his beads available, and it's not going to do anything for him. Master's Will winds up cleaning that one up. Left side, we're seeing Host of Bananas try to stick to Fred Snare, but 72 transformations, he only needs the one to get away.
I just don't understand why Red Team is still here. I mean, you get both mid towers, and then Vitamin D does get the pick, but he kind of baits his team into this long, extended team fight where instead of pushing their lead and getting farm elsewhere on the map, they're forced to stay around and help their teammates. And overall, it's just not worth it at all.
So we're about 23 minutes in here. We have a 5,000 gold advantage for the red team with a comp that is much more late game focused. I mean, both Soul and Zeus have great late game potential, but Soul can deal her damage just a bit easier. She's also going to have that Warlock Sash finished by the time that it's necessary. We have Ho Yi going up against Anhur. I think Ho Yi is definitely a stronger character in the end game. We have Amaterasu versus Sun Wukong. Amaterasu going to be a little bit stronger. Overall, it seems like Red Team kind of has this one in the bag.
Yeah, Red Team's team fight is just insane. I mean, the AoE speed or damage buffs from Host of Banana, plus the attack speed and damage buff from Firezerg. I mean, if they're going to be fighting 5v5, as long as they group at the right times and then spread for the Zeus ult, they're going to be in really good shape.
So what you did right there is really bad, because while your analysis was spot on, it doesn't do anything for the cast. Now, Caster 1 says, this game is basically over. If Caster 2 agrees with that, people turn the cast off.
Okay.
Right? So when I say Bear is the better late game, Neanikos is the better late game, Host of Banana is the better late game, and they're up by 5,000 gold, you need to start talking about win conditions for the blue team. Talk about how they still have a chance to bring it back, because even though they probably fucking don't, it's important to make sure that it seems, you know, to the eyes of the viewers who are watching for the first or second or third time, that this game is actually much closer than we're giving it credit for, even if that's a lie, right? So what you should have said, right, but let's not count them out too quickly. While Barracuda is leading the game at 19, Fred Sinaire's on point with that. He's also level 19. He also has 12,000 gold to his name, which is even with Barracuda. So I don't think it's completely outside the realm of possibility that they bring this back, especially if Fred Sinaire starts building anti-Barracuda. I think a Midgardian male here would destroy, because it's not only going to affect Barracuda's attack speed and power, but it reduces the power of more vitamin D. It reduces the power of Host of Banana, and with the attack speed, of course, it's going to be harder for them to stick. And Nianikos, I don't know why I can't say that, will also have his attack speed reduced. Overall, with the health and the defense, this is his only item that's necessary. And we look at the build now, it looks like he's going into a cloak. I mean, he has a few options here. It's definitely too late for Hide of the Urchin, but I wouldn't, put out a Mantle of Discord. Adding 15% CDR to this character is a great pick at this point.
Yeah, gotcha.
So then what happens?
Then after I say that blue team's still in it and go into that?
Yeah.
We probably talk about the map control on the right side, making sure it looks like Firezer's got some wards, making sure that they have vision control around Fire Giant and invading those right side buffs and or going for that tower. That
is correct, but I meant in the grander scheme of things, like where the narrative goes. The narrative then now changes to Fred Sinaire versus Barracuda. So what we're doing in team fights now, aside from major, burst ultimates coming out from like Zombieland or Butt Blasted, we're talking about, can Fred Sinaire outlast Barracuda? Can Barracuda out damage everyone on the blue team? Right? The narrative shifts from Junk Style versus Barracuda to Barracuda versus the solo laner. How much CC can Fred Sinaire put out versus how much damage Barra can deal to the map? Okay,
yeah, I understand.
Okay. And that will also help you in your succinctness, because now we know these are the important people. If an early pick happens to Barra or Fred Sinaire, the fight's fucking over.
Right.
And then we can start doing pop-offs. Like, Fred Sinaire got picked, Barracuda's gonna run wild, shit like that.
Right.
All right, so right side grouping from red, you'll notice 3 people on the right side going for the tier 1 tower. Vitamin D and Nianikos kind of sandwiching and, applying this pincer-style pressure onto Butt Blasted.
Yeah, Butt Blast is going to get poked pretty heavily there by the Stellar Burst, and it looks like Vitamin D wants to go in.
He misses again.
Yeah, it does a nice job of trying to split the team fight there. If he would have been able to catch Man Tracker, but by not catching him, it kind of puts him in a hostage situation.
Uh-oh, Fred Sinaire, we talked about this. He's very low. They've already picked up Man Tracker. The tier 1's already gone. Fred Sinaire is not with a lot of room here. Firezerg jumps in, misses the stun, goes for another one, going super deep as Thor, but Fred Sinaire able to turn this one around. Is stuck inside the Phoenix. He's taking the dot damage. True damage rings forever as Butt Blasted takes him down, but Red still picks up the tier 2, and they're looking at the Phoenix.
The classic medbait there from Fred Sinaire gets Thor into the Phoenix, and then Butt Blast does a nice job of keeping him in there with the true damage.
Fred Sinaire fully healed now as Firezerg in a lot of trouble. Time wears off in his dragon form, and no, you can't channel this power forever. The Phoenix is going to stand, but it looks like the blue team is still crippled.
Nianikos is still very healthy here, and even though Barracuda has been the story so far in these team fights, this late game solo is going to be able to shred Phoenixes. Barracuda, you're still the story.
Just doing whatever he wants. We're just out here doing whatever.
They're looking at this Phoenix right now, and they are pretty poked. I'm surprised they're still going for this. Host of Banana does want to keep going in with that dazzling offensive, but Fred Sinaire's going to try and chase him down.
Host of Banana might be in some trouble here. They're diving super deep for this. He's able to dash out. Does he have any more room? Firezerg out of mana, can't control. Barracuda, low health, can't control. Nianikos, we know, doesn't want to help his teammates. We know that he's going to run away. Oh, but Vitamin D's in here. He's teleported, and he's taking to the sky.
He's going to look to help Host
of Banana. Jesus, why did we put our faith in him?
Not even close. I mean, it wasn't even the same area code.
My man definitely needs more Vitamin D.
Yes, I mean, maybe he has enough Vitamin D and he's lacking in other vitamin areas, Maybe he needs some Vitamin C.
Maybe he was bottom pick in this rank game, and more Vitamin D, it means that he's mainly a mage player, given that that's a raw line, and the odds of him playing an assassin when money's on the line are very slim, despite the fact that he's in this game no matter what, and oh my god, is it not fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was more of like a I don't go outside very much joke, but that might be it too.
I'm sure it's both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. And Fred Sonaire is going to fall to Barracuda. A huge ricochet there. Mantracker's going to try and pull some in with the no escape, and he will, but it's not going to matter. Buff Blast is going to come in and try to pick up the Echonos in the back.
Barracuda might be in some trouble if the detonate goes off, but no, he's trying to turn it around. Does he dive to the back line? He pulls the Fire Giant. Barra could be in some trouble, but no. Junkstyle unable to control it. Buff Blasted wasting time on the bottom side, and it looks like the Fire Giant will stand. Phoenix able to live as well. We're about 27 minutes in here with a 10-kill advantage for the red team, along with a clean 6,000 gold.
Yeah, they were trying to push that 4v5 fight with the pick of Hosted Banana and more Vitamin D from earlier, but I mean, it just wasn't enough. A nice ricochet and Suns coming down from Barracuda, really bursting Fred Sonaire. And once that happens, like we said earlier, he's going to be the focal point of the team fight for Blue Team. He's got the most kills, he's the most far ahead, and he's got to be really the focus for Red Team. And that's exactly what they did, and that's why the fight went so well.
So you just missed the most important thing. I was hovering on it, waiting for you to notice. Again, you must be looking and listening while talking. And in this case, we didn't see Butt Blasted go back to the base. Barracuda just walked up to him and said, "Oh my god, he's a quarter health," and stunned him and killed him.
Right. Looks like
which means
Junkstyle's going to pull the Gold Fury. Oh, which means that he was incredibly lazy and didn't back.
No, which means now there's a power play for the red team. They have wards all over the map, knowing that no one is going to be rushing down this Fire Giant, and they're going to take it as 4 for free.
Yeah, the Blue Team does get the Gold Fury, but that is not worth it at all. I mean, they're going to lose 2, if not 2 Phoenixes and a Tier 2 tower on the left, the only tower remaining for Blue Team.
So right side Phoenix getting pressured, and it looks like 4 out of the 5 are here. Zeus, for some reason, is doing his red buff. The team doesn't notice on the red side that Blue is still a man down, but Blasted still hasn't come up yet. Double tap Junkstyle taking a third of his health. Trying to control here. Phoenix getting super low, and that's going to be the first Phoenix to fall this game.
And that was only with 4 people. Soul was pushing in the middle wave, and I mean, look at how much damage she's doing to that middle Phoenix immediately. That's all by herself.
Mantracker going to try to pull here, not going to find anything except for a whole bunch of damage. Barracuda credited once again with that one on hit a rampage after going, what was that, unstoppable before. I mean, he's had 12 for 1 so far. And oh, but look at this, Zombieland able to answer one back.
A nice chain lightning there, and the detonate secures the kill, but that was all because Fred Sonaire hit that.
Oh my god, just what? I mean, at least he hit the stun, right?
Yeah, that was, hey, that's up in the percentages. Right?
Jesus.
About all you can say about that.
It's more than vitamin D at this point. Like, I feel like my man needs iron, protein, like, you know, pretty much anything that's going to go into his body that'll have a positive effect. I mean, grab some water. You know, get hydrated.
He needs like one of those like multivitamins, a supplement, if you will. Probably
magnesium, right?
Yeah, something like that. Some omega fish oil.
I mean, what was the best case scenario there? They kill the Zeus?
That he hits the ult and gets some more damage.
Chain Lightning not going to be applied here. Still doing a lot of damage to Fire Zerg. Coerce for the heal. And Fire Zerg going to be forced back either way. But let's look at the red team. They're still 6k ahead. They got the Phoenix down on the right side. There's no real objectives for them to do on the right side of the map, so they can focus very heavily now on the left side.
Yeah, I like this. I like this idea. They can just push down. Nothing to worry about on the right side. They do have that ward to TP2 for Amaterasu. If things start to go poorly, she can back and then get an excellent angle to the team fight coming from that right side, starting with the left.
Mid lane, Zeus by herself. Still Fire Giant adorned. We're going to see Fire Giant last for about another 90 seconds. And it looks like only 2 of the remaining blue members are controlling the Fire Giant buff. Barracuda falling in the last engagement, putting him at 12, 2, and 12, a part of 24 of the 33 kills on the board. In fact, so is Fire Zerg.
Yeah, nice job by both of them. But something that I just noticed is that Soul just now backed. I mean, everyone was back in base, but she decided to farm instead. She had almost 2,000 gold in her hand. And now this is going to delay the push significantly. Look how far she is. And if they want to see just Tier 2 tower safely, they should probably wait for the Soul.
Speaking of Soul, she is not in a very good position. The team is grouping up here, and with a very few 45 seconds remaining, they're not going to have the advantage of having that Soul push the tower down, but they're going to get it either way. More vitamin D proving useful to lock down the right side, or the right side of the left tower to ensure the jungle can't be invaded on. They'll get another 1,500 gold thrown into the wallet.
Yeah, if Fred Sinair was there and not pushing up the middle, defending the middle lane from those fire minions, that would have been the best fight blue team's going to get. With a 4v5 without the soul is as good as you're going to get, especially when Soul is dishing out the top damage in the game right now, surpassing even the 12-2 Barracuda.
I forgot how to do damage. Oh, there it is. Yeah, 31,000. But check out Wukong. 28.5, putting himself ahead of Barracuda.
Yeah, he's doing as much as he can. I mean, the CC as well as that damage coming in, and that isn't just poke damage in lane, but he's going to get poked very low, but more Vitamin D is going to get sent to the base.
Mantracker looking for 2, pulls 1 inside. Host Banana only taking 1 tick, though, as blue team's Titan, you'll see, is under attack. No one controlling these fire minions. Red team will have an opportunity to rush this fight down. They shouldn't be backing. They need to keep the pressure on and stop them from getting away. Why are they letting them do this?
Especially with Fred Sinair in the base. I mean, he's the only one doing anything for blue team. They gotta push that advantage there. I mean, they are going to get a free fire giant, it looks like, but it's
not up for 25 seconds.
It's not up for a little bit longer. They really needed to push that team fight.
They didn't push the minions to ensure that the Phoenix would have went down. They didn't block the people from going back to get that Titan's health to be a critical condition. They really just let them have control of the map back. There's 2 more waves of fire minions, 1 in mid, 1 in left, and let's see, are these? No, those aren't fire. Top side right, not fire. So it looks like blue team might have a way to get themselves back into this game once the left side fire minions are taken care of.
It looks like they're going to start this Fire Giant right away. Firezerg popping the Dragon to get that AoE buff for his damage dealers, but I don't know if they're going to be able to burst this in time. This is pretty risky. It's a 3v5.
Thor's not there, though. They don't have a Hand of the Gods for this. He can walk in. Mantracker not walking in. Desert Fury over the wall. Wasn't enough damage, but blue team steals it. Fred's in air for putting the team on his back completely. Barracuda's been taken down, but blasted to the top side, able to get out of the fight. The Fire Giant gets turned. The Phoenixes are still alive, but there are fire minions on the right side. Red needs to find a way to lock this down, and it's finally going to be a shot from Thor. Landed, and Junk Style. Oh, the body block that hurt my soul.
Poor Thor. Firezerg is going to get pulled in here by the no escape, and Niakanos is actually in a ton of trouble as well. He's going to fall to the chains, it looks like, and I mean, that is best case scenario for blue team. I mean,
look at this.
Almost an entire team wipe.
Host of Banana trying to get out. Yes, he will. Right side Phoenix does go down. No one able to control those minions, at least quickly enough. We saw Sarkette make an attempt by going back. She didn't quite grab them. She's pushing up now. The rest of the fire minions will be taken care of between the creeps and then, of course, the Titan. But the Titan healed up. I mean, I think that's really important. It's back to full health.
Yeah, absolutely. So they don't have to worry about that backdoor potential if they were going to go do something like that with the double teleport from Amaterasu and Thor. And Amaterasu electing to do the speed buff instead of show at least a little bit of presence in the middle. Probably wouldn't have defended the tower, but you want to at least just make them think about it, you know?
Well, we're 34 minutes in now. The game is much closer to even than it was. We have 4 players with that Fire Giant buff. They take down a tier 2 in mid, and they're going to look to the right side. This is going to put the game within 2,000 gold. In fact, it's actually 1,500 with a Gold Fury up. Blue team actually has a chance to even out the gold advantage. Looking at the experience, solo laners level 20, junglers level 20, mids level 20, hunters level 20, and Mantracker is 1 level behind Firezerg. I mean, that's as negligible as it gets.
Yeah, everyone is full build, save for the Zeus. He's got 1 tier left for the Soul Reaver. I'm guessing that's what he's going. He may go for the Book of Thoth, but I mean, this game is absolutely even. There's no advantage once this Fire Giant buff wears off. I'd like to see, pull the Gold Fury here, push the advantage just a little bit farther while you can, get that extra gold for those power pots, and then look to fight around the Fire Giant.
Blue team takes the Gold Fury immediately. Firezerg out of position. Buttblast is going to go for it. Recognizes, though, that his team wasn't close enough to follow up, and he backs off. Extremely patient, very smart. Blue team has 90 seconds now with this Fire Giant, and it looks like they're going to be taking the the left side, but look at the mid lane. Look at this.
Yeah.
They're going to go for the Phoenix.
They're going to go for the pseudo base race. I mean, you're only losing a tier 1 tower in left or a tier 2. And like we said, the gold is pretty much negligible at this point. Doesn't really matter. So you may as well get this Phoenix and trade it out. I mean, I don't understand what blue team's doing here.
Ooh. Zombie definitely got dazzled there as Amaterasu takes about half of his HP. They're holding it pretty well, though, on the left side. Fred Sinair able to get up, and the Phoenix will fall.
Not only do they get the Phoenix, but they also get Fred Sinair's ult and Mantle of Discord. So, oh, okay. More vitamin D. You can just.
He got solo. I mean, Butt Blasted chased him down. He applied the ultimate. Fire Giant still has about 50 seconds. They're trying to make the play. Nianikos does get slowed, but Fred Sinaire not willing to chase through the soul damage. Or rather, on her does not get the damage or the slow off. Fire Zerg is caught, though.
Look at Barracuda. Barracuda's going for the end here.
Oh, Barra.
This is evil Barra. This is Barracuda saying,
They're backing. Red team's
guys.
not stopping them. Barracuda doesn't have enough damage. There's no way he has enough damage.
There's no way. I mean, he's not going to be able to get it. He is probably he's 1 HP right now, going to fall eventually to butt blasted here.
That is the second time.
But you got, I mean, if red team does their job and doesn't let the rest of blue back, he wins the game.
That was the second time that we have seen red team give up a 1 advantage, or in this situation a 1 game, because they were unwilling to play the objective properly. They should have sacrificed themselves to ensure that the no back could have happened, but instead they wind up playing the quote safer route, and Barracuda winds up getting taken down as a result. What a shame.
Yeah, too bad there. I like the idea. I like the evil Barra mentality of I'll do it on my own, but he did need some assistance. Not even at the Titan, but just to prevent them from backing.
More Vitamin D and Fred Sinaire locking down here. Oh, Mantle of Discord gets popped. Vitamin D could be in some trouble, though. Knockup was good, and yeah, out of position is Thorn. He's going to go down. Blue continues their advantage, and with Fire Giant coming up in 20 seconds, look, Barra's down, Host of Bananas down, but he does have teleport, and Vitamin D, there's no way he's getting anywhere near this Fire Giant.
Red team does have a nice ward by the blue buff down there. That's going to be the ward that Amaterasu is going to look to teleport to and possibly make a play. Speaking of making a play, Niakinos is going to look to try and backdoor himself, but blue team sniffed this one out.
Well, I think what happened was you see Soul, right? I mean, he probably thought the entire blue team was going to go get that Fire Giant on cooldown. That's kind of what I thought too, but Soul went for the back. Zombieland has a great opportunity here. He's taking a lot of damage. Oh, God bless Serket showing up when she did.
At least forced the ultimate and the Sanctuary out of Zeus. So it didn't end up working out, but he has both actives available whenever he does respawn, whereas Zeus will be without that Sanctuary. And for this, without the ult for the Fire Giant fight coming up.
Host of Banana trying to get in to apply some pressure so that Fire Zerg doesn't get burned down, but it looks like he gets out of there safely on her, missing the Impale, and thus no damage applied to the red team's or blue team support. No, red team support. It's the same thing.
Red team, blue team, purple team.
Purple team.
Right.
We're all
or
friends.
The green team that Junk Style plays for. I mean, it's all the same.
Fire Zerg just barely getting away from that one. He's going to have to ult here to avoid getting pulled into what should have been certain death. Barracuda out of position, gets blasted. Fire Zerg trying to find a way through as Vitamin D takes to the sky. What is he looking for here?
He's got to be looking to peel for Fire Zerg and Host of Banana. And maybe he'll be able to, yes, nice dub. Does hit that one, but Blast is going to immediately purify and get away from there. Fire Zerg was going to be in trouble, but a great wall interrupts the flames and lets him escape.
Fred Sinaire throwing the decoy in to make sure chase is applied. They're going to burn down this mid-Phoenix, but speaking of burning down, fire minions burning into the base, and just barely does Butt Blast to get there before the archers. I mean, by the way that he had used his dash to get to the archers, he would not have enough damage to burst them down, which means that would have been the game if he was even half a second later.
Yeah, that was very, very close. That time, finally, they do sort of push their advantage. Not even an advantage, but just keeping the blue team tied up, but it wasn't quite
Is Fred Sinaire dead? He doesn't have his animals. He doesn't have a way out of this. He's one hit. Fire Zerg sees it. He's missing auto attacks, and the bird comes back up. I want to puke.
And that's the second time today that we've all felt a little bit nauseous after watching Fred Sinaire get out with 1 HP.
See, that was great. That was great. Good job there.
Thank you.
There was much more emphasis in your voice, too. It was sarcastic, but I felt that you were alive and you meant it. Vitamin D missing yet another ultimate, but does follow up with the wall. Junk Style trying to trade here. Vitamin D full Warriors Madness, but it's not enough. Junk Style in place, gets the stun, but he gets picked off in the backline. Fire Zerg shuts him down.
Can't believe he jumped in place there. He was right next to the wall, could have jumped over, but Mr. Zombieland's actually going to trade out for the Host of Banana. He's looking dead without any chance of escape, but he's able to get a return kill.
Barracuda, the legend, returns to the fight. Fred Sinaire jumping in the back line. Nianikos separates himself from the team once again and gets picked off. Didn't rely on his team enough. Both Phoenixes in the mid lane have respawned. What are we seeing here? Vitamin D trying to get a speed buff. He stuns, recognizes that he's in a lot of trouble, and he is out of there!
Giving Fred Sinaire the old Fred Sinaire. Meanwhile, red team is going to get this middle Phoenix. Nice job. Without Thor going for that speed buff, it was a little interesting. Barracuda looks like he's going to try and get this weakened right-hand Phoenix as well. No, he's just going to back up.
Vitamin D did not back quickly enough. He is going to be caught here. He needed to press that B. That is the second time that we have seen him falter on a decision. There is no waffling. This is a pancake-only zone.
Do you like pancakes more than waffles?
My mom's pancakes are the best pancakes in the world. Everyone who tries them agrees, but if they're not my mom's pancakes, it's got to be waffles.
I agree.
Waffles are much easier because you're you're getting the crispy edges. It's much more evenly cooked because you have a fucking waffle maker, right? You don't have to worry about someone properly flipping a pancake.
Plus, no one's ever had chicken and pancakes. Like no one's ever.
I mean, you can, but when you lack the crispiness of the waffle, it's just mush.
Yeah, it's just not as good.
Yeah.
Chicken and waffles is the supreme breakfast food.
God bless. Fire Giant has respawned. Both mid Phoenixes have been killed. You'll note the right Phoenix for the blue team is weakened as well. So the only thing that is going to be going on here is the Fire Giant dance.
Yeah, right now, blue team does have the ward control and the vision control. Same thing, but I can say it two different ways. Around the Fire Giant, and it looks like they're just going to try and red team secure their speed buff and look to. They've got to focus down Fred Snare at some point. I would be looking to use that Fafnir one, the hammer throw or the dragon spit, whenever it is in the dragon form. It's a protection shred, and you've got to get Fred Snare out of these fights. He's 13-2, just doing way too much work right now. Can't handle the CC and damage coming out of him.
Now, the longer this goes on, the bigger the advantage for red team, because if you look at what's happening in mid, you see Vitamin D pushing this. He's put himself on the map, though, and looks like blue recognizes, but they don't commit. The red Phoenix will respawn first, which means their fire minions will eventually win this engagement.
Yeah, I like the patience here from red team. Like you said, their Phoenix is going to come up first, and then they've got that ward in the middle, right in front of that Phoenix there, for that either Thor or Amaterasu can teleport to. If the fight starts going poorly, you can at least guarantee that middle Phoenix goes back down, and just the patience here is what I like to see out of red.
We should also talk about wards. There are 2 sentry wards in the inventory of the red team. No wards at all for blue. Oh my, Vitamin D took so much damage. The detonate goes off. He's going to be forced back. Does he use the teleport here, or does he just try to work his way back naturally?
I think you wait and see if blue team is going to force a fight, and that's what they're going to try to do. Heavenly popped for Man Tracker, going to speed up. Butt Blasted going for Niakanos is going to ultimate him, and he's totally cut off from the rest of his team.
This is great for red. Honestly, yes, they lose one person, but if they can continue this fight, look at Thor. Again, red doesn't stop them from backing. He has a wave of fire minions. Thor's in by himself. It's not going to be enough damage. The back is going to be good. This is now the 3rd time that red doesn't commit to a fight that could win them the game.
This looks like a ranked game, doesn't it?
You would think. Fred Snare teleporting.
The Fire Giant.
Yeah, Fred's going to be able to stop that. And they're jumping on him in the back line. He's out of position. Mantle of Discord saves the day as he takes to the sky.
Yeah, gonna force that somersault cloud though. Red team is okay with that. They probably weren't gonna be able to get the Fire Giant there no matter what. So at least they do get a small win in getting the ultimate out of Fred Snare.
And the Phoenix, still has a little while before it's respawning, so no harm, no foul here for the blue team's misplay, thanks to the red team's misplay. Wards, it looks like control right now belongs to red just a little bit, but blue can take it back. You'll see Butt Blasted hanging out here, Junk Style as well. They need one more person to show up because they're the only 2 without wards.
Yeah, the vision control is very important by red right now, and because they have that vision control, I'd like to see Amaterasu go immediately to the left lane here. Still has a teleport available, Sun Wukong does not, and you can push that still healthy Phoenix down and allow the fight to start 4v5. If it's going well, you get a free Phoenix. If it's not, you can teleport in and come in from a good angle most of the time.
All right, keep it going.
Man Tracker's going to get poked out there. Spirit's Robe going to save a little bit of damage for him, but the vision control for blue now starting up the Fire Giant. Junk Style is going to pull it, and it doesn't look like red has any sort of response. I don't think they know.
Fred Snare trying to hold out everyone. Knockup going to hit 3, but they abandon the Fire Giant fight. But instead of going forward, Junk Style's running away. They're just completely locking most of the blue team to the top side. In fact, both of the frontliners are locked inside the front line, and it could be trouble.
Yeah, Junk Style's going to fall in the back to more Vitamin D, but a great Chain Lightning is going to dissuade red team from pushing back. No, Man Tracker's going to get bursted by the Solar Burst, but Firestar's going to fall here.
They're going to let the blue back again. They're going to let blue back again. And more Vitamin D, it looks like, will be able to pick up the Phoenix, but that's all he's going to get. Blue team doesn't take the Fire Giant. He doesn't back to save the Phoenix. They didn't even grab the speed. No, they did grab the speed. Barracuda walks haphazardly around the corner, going to get picked, and it looks like blue team will be getting this Fire Giant.
More Vitamin D may be coming in from the back here. Ultimate is up in just about a dozen seconds, so he might have something to say about it. It's not falling particularly fast.
And that actually, and check this out, more Vitamin D actually winds up getting shut down by the Mantle of Discord. What looked like a guaranteed kill will wind up being a reversal as a red team jungler gets picked up in lieu of the blue team solo.
And that's Fred Sanaire again, a perfectly timed 72 transformations to interrupt the spin to win. He's just doing so much work for the blue team right now. And even when he's low health like this, he's looking to zone out the soul.
Do you see his KD? 14-19.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absurd.
And
Host
look at
Banana
this.
is going to fall here, and then a perfect job recognizing that he was going to fall and pushing directly into Niakinos. And this is all of a sudden, I mean, blue team could just get a huge power play here.
Oh, Fred Sanaire is backing with the intent of using his teleport. They're going for the Fire Giant?
Free Phoenix here. I totally dislike this call. I know Barracuda's up in 10 seconds.
Phoenix, they had 5 people!
But both of his
That was the game!
They could have easily ended the game. One CC on Barracuda would have spelled his death. Instead, they're going to elect for the Fire Giant, which is nice and all, but I'd rather win the game, personally.
I'm at a loss for words. This is now the 4th time that the game should have ended, and it hasn't, because players are choosing the wrong options. Rough break here, but a pretty good break for the red team, who for some reason is being allowed to respawn. Maybe there's a gentleman's agreement going on saying, like, hey, you know, you guys have thrown twice. Here's the ball back, just in case.
Look, everyone needs their worshippers. You get more worshippers the longer the game goes. It's just a, you know, it's a win-win. Even when you lose, you get more worshippers the longer the game goes, right?
No, mathematically, you get the most for winning as quickly as possible.
If you're playing multiple games, but say you only want to play one game.
That's true. You got to get the biggest bang for your buck, right? Make the game last an hour.
Right, exactly. I mean, if you're going to go out, you might as well go out with a thrown game multiple times.
Left side, Junk Style picking up the red buff. This is likely to go to Mr. Zombieland. Great name, by the way. Let's see. How much damage is he sitting on? That's going to bring him 841. So, yeah, detonate charge. Going to be swinging.
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. But the key, I mean, Zeus is going to be hurting late game basically all the time. The big thing for him is no active available for the next 40 seconds. And with a Thor and an Amaterasu and a Fafnir, it's very easy to get in the face of that Zeus. So he's going to have to position very, very well during these Phoenix pushes if he wants to survive.
He's backing? No, okay. He's trying to push down some of the mid creeps. Remember, these are fire minions, and they could spell disaster if not controlled. The rest of the team using this Fire Giant, ensuring that the rest of the red team can't move out of their base. This will allow them to clean up the fire minion problem around the map and start pushing in. Now, really, all red team needs is one team fight win. If they can kill 3 people for 1 or less, they win the game. But the same exact situation belongs to blue.
Well, they should win the game, but they could instead elect for a free Gold Fury. You know?
Damn it.
Man Tracker going to tank up the Phoenix here. A nice stun on the Junk Style to defend him. Bursting that down quickly, allowing the rest of his team to get here for the Phoenix defense. But Fred Sanaire still wants to push this.
I don't know why Fred ulted there. Vitamin D does finally land his ultimate, but he is stuck in no man's land and will be picked up. Red team throws their jungler away as Man Tracker finds a pretty big pull to ensure that the most of the red team is blocked off, but they don't move in fast enough. We need to see the blue team take advantage here, and that's the advantage we were looking for.
Yeah, not even about the pool. It's the fact that Barracuda burned his purification, and Fred Sanaire knows that, is looking for him, but a nice sanctuary is going to prevent him from picking up that kill. Blue team does get the middle Phoenix, still 4 strong here, but red team's going to be healing up, and that's still a lot of damage alive. Sol and Hu Yi both able to defend the Phoenix pretty well.
Barracuda getting pushed back here as they start turning their sights to the Phoenix once again. Sitting a little bit below half, it looks like red team is going to be forced back. Second bird falls.
I like the decision there. Give it up. I mean, they're there just to make sure that they can get a little bit of poke off, hopefully, but they're not looking to fight there. They know if Barracuda dies or Sol dies, that's the thing.
Zeus control is good. Junk Style getting very, very low. Forced to use the Sanctuary, but it's going to be Host of Banana that picks it up. Zombieland goes down as well. They've lost 2 birds on the side of the red, but they're starting to turn this one around. Man Tracker, no movement. Going to be locked down here by the Amaterasu with the Frostbound Hammer.
Yeah, the no escape is going to pull them in, but it doesn't really matter.
Wait.
Man Tracker is going to fall.
That's 4 down. There are 80-second respawns on some of the players. Fred Snaire's about to come up. There is Butt Blasted as well, but there are 3 extremely powerful players, all 3 of whom can heal.
I like this call from Butt Blasted. He's going to go in. Thor is going to use that teleport to get in, and this is going to be a good old-fashioned base race here.
There was no wards. He took the farthest point possible. Host of Banana's going to go for it. I don't know who's going to have this. No, Butt Blasted's caught!
Yeah, he backs. A nice job there. Butt Blasted, no purification available.
Fred Snaire versus 3. No one's respawning for 30 seconds. It is Sun Wukong and his infinite army of animals against 3 extremely powerful endgame characters, but it looks like Barracuda is not choosing to go in. In fact, his team is backed off pretty heavily.
Yeah, he's worried that he doesn't have any actives available. 172 transformation is going to spell...
Fred Snaire!
There it is.
Finds a kill. Mantle of Discord stuns them out. Barracuda's gone. He dodges another Stellar Burst, doing some extra damage. Knockup only hits 1. Trying to find it. Nianicos will find the return kill, but 2 birds down on each side with Fire Giant respawning. Butt Blaster getting chased in the jungle. Will be picked up by more Vitamin D, and still a major advantage right now for the red team.
Yeah, they've got great timers right now. They've got a 4v2, or 4v3, excuse me, for the next 65 seconds, and they've got to get this Fire Giant with that, or push down that left-hand feed.
No. We need boards. Are you crazy? What would you do without that, what, 30 gold per player?
It's all about saying, you might have won the game, but my gold per minute was dope.
Junk Style is starting this up. First dodge, unsuccessful, takes a huge chunk of damage, really bad play, goes back into it! Have you never seen this boss in your life? No wonder your name is Junk!
That's not how you do that. That is not how you do that.
And now he has to back! There's no teleport! On her may have just thrown this game!
He wasn't going to be able to defend it even with the Ares there, I don't think, but you got to at least give yourself a chance to steal it with the Desert's Fury or with, just some sort of misplay from the red team. But instead, it looks like red team wants to push towards the end here and not go for the Fire Giant.
Host Banana stuck and likely caught. Maybe not enough damage just yet. Stellar Burst getting sent in. Damage from the ultimate as well. Going to be enough to pick up Zombieland? Yes, they're going to find him. Another great silence from Host Banana on her. Out of position again. Not in a good spot. They're trying for enough damage here. Amaterasu continues the onslaught along with his Fafnir, but Man Tracker trying to hold the front line down.
Fred Snaire is back, however, finally respawned, as is Butt Blasted. So Barracuda's coming in. It looks like they're going to try and no, Firezer's going to get caught by the Circuit ultimate. The Mantle of Discord is going to save him for now, but Butt Blasted wants to keep going.
Barracuda with a beautiful use of the sun, stuns right outside. Ton of damage, does manage to get out. It looks like his Deathbane comes off a cooldown one more time. Nianicos laying waste. Corporeal form back in damage. And wow, they're going to go for it. Only 2 people left. Fred Snaire this time facing off against 5.
This should be it. I mean, it looks like they're going to make sure they get enough creeps in here, but with the buff from Firezer, it should be enough. Niakidos is going to fall to the Titan, but it's not going to matter as red team mercifully end the game at 54 minutes.
So let's talk about the casting.
Yeah.
The 2 major notes that I have for you are you use the word there way too much. You didn't use the word interesting too much after I pinged you on it. But you did use the word nice a lot, and not always did you explain why. And if you did, again, it might take you a little while longer to explain why, because you are not practiced in formulating thoughts. A lot of that comes down to just practicing on your own. Don't pay me to sit here with you and ping you on it. You should be able to recognize that you are not saying things quickly enough.
Right.
Most notably in team fights, you'll talk about a specific character and what they could do. You could probably, if you said 15 words, you probably could have done it in 9 and had a bigger impact on the audience.
Okay.
I think that was very important. So just overall succinctness and getting your qualifiers out. Next, I would recommend singing lessons.
Singing lessons?
Yes, I mean that.
I can certainly use them.
I told everyone at High Res that they should get singing lessons, except for Adonis. I don't think Hindu Man needed it. I think F-Dot got past it. Anatoly most certainly needs it. But it's not that you're monotone, but it's that you don't understand how to properly control your voice from going to a high pitch to a low pitch. It seems to me that your voice is breaking. It's not cracking like you're 12, but it's breaking. And not in a fun way where you're really hyped because you weren't getting all that loud. So if something's really exciting, you got to be able to pick up the pace really quickly and then, drop it right back down. Like that kind of stuff, it really gives dramatic effect and makes people very interested because they go up with you and they come down with you and they're like, oh, that was disappointing. And when you're disappointed, they should be disappointed. When you're excited, they should be excited because being a commentator, you're basically just a fucking cheerleader. You're a cheerleader that knows a lot about the game, right? That's really what your job is. Making people at home feel like they're a part of the action. Commentary adds value by introducing new aspects to the people at home. And a lot of that comes with voice control. I could literally say nothing about the game, but control my voice in such a way that makes people excited. I could say one name. I could go, Thor! Thor! Oh, Thor. Right? Like, I didn't tell you anything. I didn't tell you what he did, how he did it, but you know that he clearly went for something and he fucked up and died. Right? Like, that's what it sounds like.
Right.
So you have to learn how to tell a story through just the tone in your voice. I think keeping with the narrative, there were a few things that you probably missed. The biggest point, and I probably would have like flipped out on Adonis if we ended the cast and he didn't pick up on this, but Junkstyle got hit by the Fire Giant twice and threw the game, right? Do you know why that's the most interesting thing that happened that game?
Because it's completely avoidable and just comes down to player skill?
Well, yes, but in the very beginning of the game, we pinged Junkstyle for playing PvE when a team fight was going on. So he's a PvE player who couldn't even do the PvE content.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I get it.
That narrative would have been really important. And now, yes, he turns into the butt of the joke, but he deserves to be. He fucked up a major part of the game and ruined it. And we should say, like, the PvE player that we were talking about all game avoiding team fights just messed up the PvE portion of the game that matters the most. Right? This now spells a narrative. Now, this narrative can continue. If he was a pro player and next week shows up and he bodies the Gold Fury and he bodies the Fire Giant and he does it better, it's like, all right, he's got his rating gear on now, right? Like, you can make more jokes. But if he fucks it up again, you can be like, I don't know why they continue to play with this guy. He doesn't do PvP properly. He doesn't do PvE properly. Is there a PV question mark that I don't fucking know about, right? Like, sometimes someone's going to be the bad guy in the cast to create the story, right? Some fans are going to get mad about that. Some fans are going to love it a lot, but all it's really doing is sparking a conversation. Should this person be on blast for fucking up the Fire Giant 2 weeks in a row? Abso-fucking-lutely. Are fans going to be mad that we're being biased towards a person who keeps messing things up? Maybe. But that's not your job to decide if they do or don't. Your job is just to create a point of discussion. So that, to me, was easily the most important thing. That or, the Fred Sinaire 1v3 situation, right? Because that was part of our narrative in the beginning, or the middle, where we had our Wukong versus our Hunter. So he's winning that engagement. That's a really important topic. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. You're clearly a step above most. I don't know that I'd be looking to pay you for this situation, but again, it's still early, obviously. We'll only count this as the 1 hour. I won't take the half out.
Thank you.
But before we go, I assume you have some questions.
Just for the most part, I've done a little bit of work with some other casters in the past.
I'm sorry.
And just working on the transitions, I think is something as when I'm in the 2 chair, how much of, for you personally, there are times where the team fight starts to get a little bit long and then you kind of hand it off and then I pick it up and I just don't know exactly when I want to hand it back. You know what I mean?
Hand it back when you're done. Find a point that you want to make and make your point, and then let the other person go again. So if, the Fire Giant's happening and you're talking about, I'm talking about on her, and then the team fight goes and they start chasing on her down, you can say, okay, they're going for him. It looks like, they're doing this much damage. They wind up picking off Zeus, but it looks like on her did manage to get out of the fight. And then you can stop there. And I'd be like, right, but the reason that Zeus got picked off is because on her was out of position to begin with. So even though he does get out, he winds up sacrificing his teammate for it, which puts a lot of extra pressure on her, who's actually coming out of the base right now. He jumps in and he's gone. Right? And then from there, you could say things like, with on her down, that's going to be a 2-man power play. They're going to continue rushing forward. They find another pick. It's now Fred Sinaire. And butt blasted with no health versus 5 people, and this time I don't think the lightning is going to strike in the same place. Just something like that.
Gotcha.
You don't have to go for 40 minutes. Or you could have taken it for longer. You can say, Anher sacrificed the Zeus because he was out of position. Yes, Anher gets back, but he's not had a lot of pressure this game, which puts a lot of pressure on him to perform right here as we see him jumping in. He's going for the impale, doesn't get the stun, and he's picked. All right, and once he's picked, you can stop. Because at that point, analysis isn't as relevant as play-by-play because now it's just like, they're going to kill the Titan, drop a jab, right? Like, just shit like that.
Right. Okay.
Anything else?
No, I think that was my main question.
Cool.
I'm just, I'll rewatch the VOD and that kind of stuff, and then we'll go at it again on Friday.
What you should do, keep like a pen and pad next to you, or even like a notepad on your computer, and every time you say the word there, just hit the number 1, right? And just don't look at the notepad, just hit the number 1 every time you say the word there, and then go back and look at how many times you hit the number 1, and you're going to want to throw yourself into a volcano.
You're probably right.
Because I know when I first started casting, I said here and there and all these other words, and yeah, all the time. When we first started trying out casters, like way back when, one of the first people we approached was Pompon, and we couldn't have him cast because he said after every time the other person talked. Literally every time. And I said it to him, and I'm like, for next game, don't say He goes, sorry. So I'm like, all right, Pom, we're getting into game 2 here. What do you think's going to be different? He's like, I don't know. I'm just like, well, that's the end of that. And I just ended it. I'm like, this is it for you. I mean, Pon's great at other things. We wanted to see if he could be an analyst, and it just didn't work out. But these kind of things are things that people will hate. The final point I want to make as a note, and I hope, did you have my chat open at any point during the cast?
On my other monitor, it's a tab. I've still got it open, but I wasn't looking at it.
Okay, good.
I wasn't looking at it.
One of the things, and I saw someone say this, one of the things like, wow, this guy's better than Adonis. That's not true. I mean, as much shit as I give Adonis, he's a very talented speaker. His commentary to me isn't always interesting, but I do think that he's very, very good at speaking. His voice, like I said, about before about voice control, he has one of the best voices I've ever heard for esports. So sometimes he has a hard time formulating thoughts, but he's a good caster. But people immediately are saying, like, I like this guy better than Adonis. Do you know why they say that?
Because I'm not railing on players?
No. Fuck the players. They suck. I've ragged on players all the time, and I was the most popular caster by a mile. The reason that they like you more than Adonis is because they listen to Adonis. They don't listen to you. It is very, very, very easy to be a commentator for 3 weeks.
Right.
After 3 weeks, all your unique analysis and all your fun things that you've been wanting to say for 5 years get used up. And then on week 4, when you start reusing these points or you're at a loss to create things that are new and interesting, the players are going to start treating you like every other caster. I mean, even Gandhi's first week when he knew nothing about the game, people for the most part liked him. And then they started to not like him in week 7 when they just found him boring because he wasn't bringing anything new to the table. For me, Gandhi was the best person to cast with for season play. Bart was definitely the best person to cast with for lands because Bart didn't give a shit about season and didn't ever try. But Gandhi always brought his A game to season play. And he always was a very interesting commentator to commentate with because he knew how to carry a conversation. His transitions were great. His voice control is amazing. And it makes the cast very fluid and very simple. Whereas casting with Bart, I mean, of course, he always understood transitions, but he would be on Twitter half the time. He didn't really give a shit about what was going on. But in week 7, people hated Gandhi, even though, again, he was my favorite. And to this day, if I had to do a season game and be bored out of my mind with the fucking Randozos feeding their brains out, I hope it was Gandhi on the other side of me to ensure that the cast was a lot of fun. I had the most fun casting with Gandhi because, to me, again, he is a very talented commentator. Your goal is to try to figure out as a commentator how to be interesting past week 3. I think I was pretty successful in that regard because people hate my stream because I yell at them because they suck at the fucking game. Shit, I think pros suck at the game, right? But when I'm going on stream and I'm being a really angry dude and I make everyone hate me and I'm still the most sought after caster, right? That's a pretty important aspect of my career. So your goal is to try to figure out what makes you interesting and why it should be important that we listen to what you have to say. Even if people hate what you have to say, as long as they're talking about it, that could be very, very relevant. So work on figuring out who you are. I would say practice your voice control a little bit. If you could just find a thing on the internet that has like, an A, B, C, D, E, F, G kind of note thing, you could just be like, just do things like that. to try to get there, and just stop using qualifiers.
Okay. Got it.
All right, man. And I think we'll pick this up on Friday night, yeah?
Yep.
All right,
Sounds
man.
good.
Cool.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
No
Thank you.
worries.